Hey everybody, this is Rob Lenfesty. Welcome to Convergence Lifestyle. We're here at Mandala Springs in my living room in my makeshift music studio. And I want to use the keyboard to show you how you can perform very complex tasks with your mind and body effortlessly. I see a lot of people out there trying to execute more complexity in their lives through their conscious mind. And so I want to show you how you can build unconscious mastery into any given skill set so that you're able to utilize the greater part of your mind-body connection to do things that you might have thought were impossible previously. And we're going to do this through Boogie Woogie. So here's what a Boogie Woogie looks like. Okay, so that wasn't exactly Boogie Woogie at the end there, but the basic Boogie Woogie, which involves the left hand roll and whatever I'm doing with my right hand. So this is your basic Boogie Woogie pattern. If you've never played the piano before, or even if you do play the piano and you haven't practiced this in particular, it may seem overwhelming to imagine yourself being able to do this effortlessly. And this is why the keyboard is a really good place to teach this universal principle of learning something to a level of unconscious competency, unconscious mastery. So when I first started learning this, it was very slow for me. I had to punch it out like this. And even so, while I was doing that, I was fumbling around and my fingers were awkward. It wasn't working. And you can feel the strain. So here's the first principle is when you're trying something new that requires you to coordinate your mind and body, you're going to initially feel strain. You're going to be using your conscious mind. You're going to be thinking, I need to put this finger here, that finger there, and I need to hit these notes in this sequence. And your conscious mind is only capable of processing a few permutations at a time. It's only able to really handle a few variables at any given moment. So when you're using your conscious mind, you're not going to be able to effectively, fluidly perform any sort of function the way that someone who has mastered it to a point where it's now in their subconscious is able to. I see a lot of people who begin to learn a new task. They come up against the strain of trying to do something with their conscious mind and they quit. They don't realize that the conscious mind is there to put the pieces together, and then you step away and let your subconscious and unconscious mind start to integrate and take over. Over time, if you keep practicing that pattern, you will notice that it requires less and less thought, creates less and less strain physically and mentally because everything is connecting from one to the other, to the point where you can do it completely without effort. So at the end of this video, I'm actually going to break down this Boogie Woogie pattern on the left and right hand to show you how you could do this yourself as well, and to make it accessible. And understand that at first it's going to be strain, awkward, but then eventually it will get more natural and you will be able to do these things with the same level of competency. So understanding that this awkwardness or slowness is going to be a natural part of the initial integration of any kind of new thing, whether you're dancing or learning to rock climb, learning to do some sort of move on a slack line, or coordinate anything that requires a use of your mind and body in a way you never have before, you're going to experience this strain. Now, here's the hack. You want to try something new a few times, 2 to 5 minutes maximum. You want to really work on coordinating this move. 2 to 5 minutes, and then stop. Go do something else. Because even while you're not practicing the thing specifically, new synapses are still forming. The mind and body are still coordinating that movement and actually doing so more efficiently because you're not inputting more data. So think about it this way. Your mind is like a computer that can handle only a certain amount of brand new data at a time. And you'll feel it as strain and fatigue when you continue to give it brand new data, something that it needs to coordinate. And so what you want to do is avoid that fatigue by practicing it in spurts and then giving yourself time, giving your unconscious mind time to catch up. And if you do things this way, you will be surprised at how quickly you can take something from conscious incompetency, that slow stumbling through it, to a place of unconscious mastery where you're able to perform the task easily. And get this, for every single task that you develop this skill with, it will reduce the time in between conscious incompetency and unconscious mastery for anything that you do. This is the magical piece of the convergence lifestyle, is that any single task that I put before myself, I am able to get into a place of competency far more quickly because I have learned how to learn effectively. And this is what I want to show you. The keyboard is a great place to start, but over time with more videos, I'm going to show you how this applies to other practices and mediums. Eventually, I can play. So I'm doing something with my left hand, doing something with my right, and I'm talking to you all at the same time. And this is because all three of these things are part of my unconscious mastery. So this is where you get with any task that you practice enough. So that is the basic principle of how to most effectively take something brand new and bring it into unconscious mastery. You're going to play with it for about 5 minutes and feel that strain, but before you experience fatigue, you're going to stop and you're going to take no less than 15 minutes and you're going to do something else completely. Get your mind off of it and let that unconscious mind start to build those synapses that bring it into that place where you can handle thousands and thousands more simultaneous processed variables than your conscious mind ever could. And that is the key. That's why when somebody who's a master at something does something, it seems so effortless. It's because it is. It's because it's being controlled by the part of their mind that can coordinate thousands and thousands of things. I mean, just in this alone, there are so many subtle little micro manipulations happening. Think about every single little muscle in my hands, the coordination of velocity of pressure on the keys, the spatial awareness, like where my hand is in space relative to the keyboard. These are all things that have to be coordinated precisely. And if I were trying to do that with my conscious mind, it wouldn't work. It has to happen in the unconscious mind. And that is the key to mastery of anything. So for this pattern in particular, this is the way it works. So you have to understand at least the basic layout of a keyboard, but we're going to start on C. I'm going to have my pinky on C and my thumb on the next C, one octave up. So I'm going to go boom, lower octave, higher octave. Then my ring finger is going to be on the third, E, and I'm going to just go up one finger, one note. And that brings me to G, which is the 5th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5th note in the chord. And then I'm going to hit the next G down. And then I'm going to start over again. Bring my pinky back up to C. So octave, octave, boom, boom. Then ring finger on the 3rd. Chromatic walk up, one note at a time with each finger so that my thumb lands on that 5th. Pinky goes down to the octave note again. That's the pattern. You can practice that. You can rewind this video and practice that over and over again till you get to a point where you can do it. Now with the right hand, I'm doing all sorts of fancy things, but it all founds on this one principle, which is the old school rolling blues chord. And the way this works is, once again, I'm starting on C, and I'm going to use just my middle finger and my thumb. That's it. So I'm going to put my thumb on the C, and I'm going to go up to that minor 3rd, which is E flat, and then I've got the minor 7th, which is B flat, and I'm just going to roll my middle finger around my thumb, back and forth. Then I'm going to place my thumb on the 4th, which is F, and I'm going to go up 1/2 step, which is this blues note. It's that flat 5th, very common in blues, and that same minor 3rd, and I'm going to roll back and forth between those. Then I'm going to place my thumb on the G, and I'm going to go up to that flat 7th, the B flat, and that flat 5th, that F sharp. I'm going to roll it there. So basically my thumb only has 3 positions. It's on the C, the F, and the G. The 1, the 4, and the 5. And it rolls between, in the case of C, 2 different black notes. That's it. And so the way that pattern is really cool, because you can eventually make it really smooth, and it allows you to really flow in that blues scale. And then when you eventually combine them, it sounds really cool. So literally, with those 2 skills that I just taught you right now, and the strategy that I laid out before, in what is actually a relatively short amount of time compared to what you might think, you'll be able to do what I just did to some degree. So I'm really curious to know what you think. Please comment. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and please turn on your notifications, and keep on evolving. We're going to keep moving with this, and I look forward to seeing you again. Hey friends, this is Rob again. If you enjoyed this video, please check out more of my content. Check out my amazing raw superfood chocolate company, Mandala Chocolate, my retreat center, Mandala Springs, and all the different events and workshops that are coming up here in the future. All of the music in these videos is my original music you could find under Amorphous and Rob Glenfesty. You can find more videos and more information on Facebook, on Instagram. Stay in touch and keep evolving.